Hi everyone, welcome back to Thoughtfully. So today is the second part of the corporate earnings series, and we're going to go over how to search for a company's 10K and 10Q. Alright, so the first thing we'll do, as you can see, we're going to go to Google and then we're going to search, or whatever search engine you like. We're going to go to SEC EDGAR. As I mentioned in the first part of the series, this is where you will find where the companies submit their SEC filings. So you can do search filings. And for today's video, just to keep it as consistent with the first part of the series, we use Tapestry, which is the parent company of Coach and Kate Spade, as the example. So we're going to use them as the example company again in this video today. So we're going to type Tapestry. And now you can see, so this little drop down right here says 10K, which is annual reports, and 10Q, which is the quarterly reports. Again, as I mentioned in the first part of the series, companies can, for accounting purposes, have a fiscal year that's different than the calendar year. And so Tapestry, for fiscal year, their fiscal year ended in August, or actually it ended in June, but they filed their 10K in August. This is what like a 10K would look like for Tapestry, and again, as it says here, for fiscal year June 28, 2025. Now, if we wanted to go back, you could see also right here, the filing before this August 10K was a 10Q that was quarter ending March 29, 2025. This is what their 10Q would look like. I decided to go through the 10K and the 10Q in a separate video just because I just wanted to break down into pieces first, like kind of how to search for these documents, and then in a much longer video we'll dive deeper into kind of the content that's in the 10K and 10Q, and kind of like what's, and again in this example of Tapestry, like what they're saying was kind of the tailwinds that they faced during the quarter and the year, and then kind of like what the risk that they found as they were operating in the environment, just some other pertinent news that they decided to announce or disclose to their shareholders in these filings. So that's how to search for a 10K and a 10Q through the SEC website, just going back. So I know we're using Tapestry as an example, but if there was other company that you want to look for, like for example Lululemon, you could just type in Lulu, which is their stock ticker, but then you see here Lululemon Athletica. And Lululemon, again, as I mentioned in the first part of the series, although they are based in Canada, since they decided to list on a US-based stock exchange, they're listed on the NASDAQ, they have to follow these laws as well. So that's the reason why they're also submitting a 10K and a 10Q to the SEC. The company can decide what their annual fiscal year is, and so for this example, Lululemon, their fiscal year ends in February 2nd of 2005. So for their next 10K would be for February 2nd, 2026 or something like that. So SEC EDGAR search was the first way, but the other way is that you can go to the company's investors or investor relations page. So again, using Tapestry, we would type in Tapestry investor relations, and you'll see here it says Tapestry investors. So just the investors portion of the website will kind of give you current stock information, but then also kind of any press releases or upcoming events that there is. So here we can go to SEC filings. They also do make it simpler, and you can just go to quarterly results. So I'll just click on that for right here. And you'll see right here they have a 10K for Q4 2025. They will also have their 10Q listed in the Q3 section right here. But you will also see now companies, the 10Q, Form 10K and 10Q are the mandatory documents that they have to file with the SEC. But companies, when they're having their earnings calls, can also make supplemental documents that is kind of just nicer to look at. For example, right here you'll see that Tapestry created a presentation for their earnings call for the annual results. So this is kind of like a PowerPoint presentation or PDF presentation, kind of just talking about what they view is their purpose. Here you'll see, and their company values, what they view as their competitive advantage in the market. I think in these documents, just in general, you kind of see more of the company brand and kind of the company vibes to say, kind of like how they feel like they describe themselves. But you also get to learn a lot of information. The 10K and the 10Q will have the same information in terms of like what the company faced that quarter or year. These presentations I think are just more prettier way of presenting it. So that's the investor presentation that they created for their annual results. But then here they also created an infographic, it looks like, just kind of briefly talking about the financial highlights of that year and then kind of what they view as going to be their outlook for 2026. And then they also created a press release kind of just talking about the results and like memoranda type format. But this is today's quick video just on how to search for a company's 10K and 10Q. In a longer video, we'll go over kind of like what information can be found in those documents. And we'll use Tapestry for consistency purposes as the example, kind of to see what they found were some of their headwinds that they had to face in 25 and kind of what expectations they're expecting or looking to see based off of 25 and just kind of what their genuine feel of the market is for their 2026 outlook. I hope this was helpful. Have a good one.